Everybody, it's product review day and a very rare 2-pass shave today on BarberDave Shaves and Such. Hello, welcome to Tuesday's Shave with BarberDave. Today's going to be a little bit different because I told you that I was going to be doing a product review. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you in front of the video rather than the end, but stick around. So what are we using today? The review that we're going to be doing today is on Martin de Candre Fougere. Now, I had mentioned that I had never tried Martin de Candre, which is weird for all the years I've been doing traditional shaving. And I just never got around to it. So we're going to kind of go through a couple of things. Also, we're going to do a live lathering. Now, to me, a soap, if this brush can lather it, which is my favorite brush, it's my most expensive brush, but it is a lather hog. And I have drained most of the water out of this, so we'll see what happens. So Martin de Candre, as a lot of you know, is a French hard mill soap that has legendary status. Very limited in how many different offerings they have. Made in the Versailles area of France, I believe. And it's just been the GOAT. I mean, it's the one that most artisans start trying to make when they're making a shaving soap. But yet, I've never tried it because there's so many soaps. So my entire goal when I bought this was looking the scent notes of fern and grass and botanicals. That sounded very much like Penhaligon's English Fern, which is my all-time grail. And of course, it's no longer made. So I wanted to find one that could do that. Now, I still have the Penhaligon's English Fern Shave Soap. Not very much. So I wanted to find one that will be a permanent replacement. Now, when I take both of these, beautiful, just a beautiful Fougere, light, creamy, a little bit sharper. And then I actually go to the original. There is a difference. There is a sweetness and more of a fern grass note in the English Fern. However, this one is a little sharper, but it's very, very close. Probably the closest I've ever seen. Okay, so lathering Martin de Candre, I take a teaspoon and I fill it with water and I float it on the top. Some people say to do that, some people say to don't. And then I soak a brush in warm water. And so I'll take and I'll load it right off the puck. Now, by softening it a little bit, it does help in the lathering process. So all I'm doing is I do some plunger items, and then I will. Now I'm not going to add any water at this point because this brush, you add too much water, you will kill the lather. So we'll see. Now the proto lather that I'm noticing is about the same, because I've tried this with both synthetic and regular 2 and 3 band silver tips, and they've done. The difference with this, so this is a Lee Sabini knot in this Morrison Fourdran. Brad Sears makes these. But it's so tightly packed that it does not want to release the lather or the water. So I take a little bit of extra time, almost as much time as I would take normally on Mitchell's Wool Fat. So then I'll take that. But the one thing I love about French hard-milled soaps is that's all that I took. And I've been shaving this with this for about 4 days. And it's amazing. So when you're looking at cost for Martin de Candre, and I do apologize, this is going to be a little bit longer of a video. It is, at most retailers, it's $74.95. Now, most of you say, wow, $80 for a shaving soap. Well, you got to look at the cost per use, and this will probably last forever unless I use it every single day, which I won't. So the cost, as most of you know that watch my channel, the cost is relative. To me, you spend what you think you enjoy. It doesn't matter whether it's $2 or whether it's $70. I've got soaps in there that are $70, $80, and higher. But it will last. It's in a beautiful glass jar, so the presentation of Martin de Candre has not changed in years. And I will tell you, I will definitely have more of these. As far as fragrance off the puck or off the jar, I would give it a solid 3.5 to 4. Latherability, as far as a proto lather, is even fantastic with a brush like this. So you're not going to have a problem lathering it. Like I said, the key is take a teaspoon of warm water, float it on top, just let it sit while you take a shower or whatever, come back. And you want to definitely try this with a drier brush. Now, not totally dry, but a drier brush, and then add water slowly. I'll show you on that. Also today, we're going to be reviewing, again, looking for an English fern alternative. Martin Candre does not make an aftershave as far as I know, and most people agree it's just a soap maker. However, Castle and Forbes makes 1445 in the aftershave balm and in the Eau de Parfum. And we're going to be reviewing those as well. The razor we're going to be using today, keep it French, is the Fierce Izzard La Legende with the leaf pattern, kind of a fern pattern, so kind of matches. Okay, so as far as latherability is concerned, absolutely fantastic. Now let's see, as we're doing this review, normally I have a comprehensive list, but we're just going to kind of do this on the fly. The next step would be how it lathers on the face. Now I have not tried bowl lathering this yet, but specifically just a face lather. Now, I am shaving today with warm water. I shaved yesterday late in the afternoon before our Drinks and Dave show. Oh, speaking of, if you get a chance to watch it, it was fantastic. We tasted Kit Kat candy bars from Japan. And it was amazing how the Japanese candy bars slammed and beat the American candy bar, because the Kit Kat is made by Hershey in the United States, made by Nestle in Japan, and a lot of neat flavors. So take a look at that at Drinks and Dave's on YouTube. That show every single evening, Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, come and join us at the Shaving Candre, www.theshavingcandre.com. So anywho, so since I shaved so late, I'm just going to be doing a 2-pass shave today, which is very rare for me. So I lightly wet the face, and then we'll go to face lathering. Now with this brush, I have to be very careful, because most of the soaps that I've tried to use with this brush, I end up overwatering, and it turns out to be a mess. Now, I loaded this heavy, and if you notice, it's very pasty. But it's doing much better. This soap is doing much better with this brush than before. And it does allow me to scrub this into my face. Okay, so I'm going to add the first couple of drips of water here. And normally, I'll dip it in the water, just the tips. But I'm going to take my fingers and just take a little bit of water and just sprinkle it in. And then go from there. Because like I said, I don't want to break this lather. I don't think it can be broken, but I'm not going to take a chance. So as far as latherability on the face, I am very impressed with any type of brush, whether it be synthetic. Now with the synthetic brush, I think I loaded it for like 5 seconds, and that was it. With a regular Badger brush, maybe 10 to 15 seconds on the jar. On the puck, rather, however you want to put it. And then with this, obviously I loaded it for about a minute, because I don't trust this brush as far as releasing lather or water. Now, the good news is I've already added three moments of water, and this brush it's doing fantastic. So again, that's another. So for the initial off the puck lathering on a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely give it a 10. As far as latherability with all different types of brushes, now this is a face lather, I would give it a solid 8 to 9. I'm going to add a little bit more just to see how far we can take it. And I'm adding drips of hot water all over the brush. Okay, so that's seeing how it's reacting on my face. This is probably the most water I'll put, because the problem I have with this brush is once I add too much water, it doesn't want to release at all. And we'll find out how that is on the second pass. And I've got way more lather than I need. But I told you this before, that when I'm lathering any soap, when I get to this stage, and you really should not be able to hear me putting the lather on, then it's ready to go. The strength of scent while shaving, so not off the puck, but on the face right now, is staying at a solid 4. So that's excellent, with 5 being the top. And like I said, this is not a scientific review, but so far, well, you can see the soap is just beautiful on the face. Okay, the razor has been stropped, 25 on linen, 25 on leather, and then 25 or 50 on leather, and then 25 on a convex bench strop. The cushion and glide on this, I'm not going to rate as far as a number, but it's fantastic. The glide is very good. It's not sticky. It's very slick and just feels very nice. Now, those of you that made comments about my fall injury and shaving over my chin, I'm just being very careful. And my angle is such that I won't skim the skin off, because it's healing a lot better than I thought. And yesterday it felt pretty good. Like I said, I don't have a lot of beard. I mean, it's detectable, but it's not a ton. And with the review that I'm doing, I did not want you guys to have to stick around for 45 minutes while I did this. Beautiful slickness, beautiful cushion. The lather is not drying out. It's staying very hydrated. So for me, not having ever used Martin de Candre, it's one of those things like, where you been all my life? It's a fantastic soap, just period. And as I said, it takes on that legendary status like Mitchell's Wolf Fat and some of your older soaps. So for me, in a way, the fact that Penhaligon's stopped making English Fern, it was the onus for me to try this. I may have never tried it. Now, so the first pass went very, very well. Here is where I've noticed that Martin de Candre really stands out against a lot of competitors. CBL Soaps is one of the few that's like this. But literally, you could do another pass just by putting water on your face. It is that slick. So there's some residual that's left on it. And believe it or not, when you rinse your face off, it actually explodes the scent to a 5, if not higher. So that's another good point is, you know, because a lot of soaps, you know, you smell it off the puck, it smells great. You put it on your face, it smells great. You do the first pass, boom, gone. This actually explodes the fragrance to make it even higher than it is off the initial thing. So water activates, for lack of a better term, activates that. The soap, surprisingly, with this brush, usually on the second pass, I have to add some extra water. This brush is really allowing the, maybe there's just enough residual in the soap that it does, but it's perfect. Now, like again, I'm only doing two passes today. But with this setup, what I normally do 3. I kind of want to do 3, but I'm not going to because I've got some other things I've got to do today. And granted, 1 pass is not going to make a difference, but I've got those other parts of the review that we're going to talk about. Okay, so the second of the rare 2 passes. So basically, I'm doing 2 passes with cleanup today. And it'll be interesting to see, even though I shaved late yesterday to see if I can still get a DS BBS result. The second pass with Martin de Candre is actually slicker. Now, a lot of that is because obviously there's not a lot of resistance for whiskers. Plus, normally I would be doing my ear to nose pass as my second pass. So this one is usually a very clean pass. And I'm noticing that it's just beautiful. I'm not necessarily expecting a DS or Dolphin Smooth BBS shave, but I would venture that I'll have BBS on 2 passes. And yes, it is still scary shaving over that right now. That's why I'm going very slow. Okay, let's see how we did and see how much cleanup we need. Again, the residual slickness is unreal. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, but again, most of that is because this is only 2 passes. But it's real close to DS-BBS. Again, and I reiterate that I shaved yesterday late in the afternoon. So we're going to call that good. So on the secondary rinse, so I've already rinsed my face once. On the secondary rinse, you could shave. You could literally shave. It is that slick. It's unreal. It's going to take probably 3 or 4 rinses to get all the residual soap off. So for those of you that have not tried Martin de Candre, is it worth the $74? Now, this was $74 for our one of our artisan retailers at the Candre and a good friend of mine, Phil at Bull Goose Shaving out of California. Check out his website. Definitely worth shopping at. He's got all kinds of stuff. And he's where I got the Martin de Candre from. Was not given to me. It was free. I mean, it was free. It was $74. I didn't receive. He did send me one little sample of Boella's Panama that I'll review in a couple of weeks. But as far as the soap, the aftershave, and everything else, I paid for it. Is it worth the $74 to me? 100%. Absolutely. No doubt whatsoever. For a couple of reasons. One, I know that this is going to last a long time. Presentation on it, solid glass, waterproof stickers, and just a beautiful presentation, as you would expect from Martin de Candre. Let me get cleaned up here real quick. Very impressed with the brush today. I may have to fall in love with this brush again, because as most of you know, this Morrison Ford & Grand brush was a grail item for me. To spend north of $4 for a brush is getting into Titleist territory. The Helios is about that. And I've really forced myself not to buy it because the purple one is just awesome. But that being said, it may end up in my den. So anyhow, so we have the Morrison Ford & Grand. And this thing is just gel-tipped, but dense. And this I've got to be careful what soaps I use this brush with, but we're not reviewing the brush today. But it's given me a newfound hope in the brush. Again, the Straight Razor Day, the La Legend, part of a 7-day set, and this has got the leaf pattern on the scale, on the spine, which is kind of ferny. They look like ferns. Again, even after the alum, there is a residual slickness that takes a little bit to finally, three rinses. But the fragrance is staying solid to me. And this big schnoz, even though it's, I thought I broke it, honestly, when I fell, because I hit pretty hard on it, and it's still swollen. But I'm still getting that fern fragrance, and it smells so much like English fern. To me, if you've ever tried Royal Fougere or any of the sharper green Fougeres, Fougere matica, which is the sharpest of the bunch, then Royal Fougere, then this, then English fern, of the ones I've tried. This would be basically if Royal Fougere and English fern had a baby. This would be it. It's not quite as creamy and bright, I guess is the word I would use. Not quite as creamy and bright and smooth as English fern, but it's real close. Okay, for our witch hazel today, we are going to be using Quinn's cucumber mint. Only reason I'm using that is it's a light green scent, and it won't really affect or interact too much with the fern. In fact, when I add this to my face, the residual fragrance that I have from the Fougere is almost like, the cucumber, that may be the key. The cucumber and a little bit of mint may be the key to getting that perfect English fern scent. Okay, so Castle & Forbes, very well known, very high end aftershaves and eau de parfums and eau de toilettes. But this one is $14.45. And the way it's described is that the grassy knolls of Scotland and the ferns of some of the Scottish areas, this is what turned me on to this. Again, this was purchased from Bull Goose. This is a balm, and it's a very thick balm. That's all you will need to use, and that's probably a little bit too much. Great fragrance, a little sharper than this is sharper than the soap, but it has some creaminess in it that gets it close to English fern. And that's the grassy note that you get. You get a lot of the fern, but the grassy note, I think, is a little bit more forward, which gives it that feel. Still a little bit sharp, but fantastic. It emulsifies very quick on the face, and I noticed that I've been using too much because towards the end of the day, you can feel it on your skin, so I've really gone down. This, I think, retails for, I don't know, 30 to 40. I don't look at prices. So again, for an aftershave balm, it's not cheap. But Castle & Forbes has the reputation. The presentation is beautiful. The balm does come in a plastic bottle, but a beautiful cap and everything else. Again, you can check out the prices at Bull Goose Shaving. But just an absolute wonderful, and it matches with the Fougere very well. And I'm getting that feeling of English fern. And that's the whole idea of this, is getting that feeling of English fern. I do have some English fern powder, but I'm not going to use it because I want to get the feeling. So what I'm doing is I'm adding Clubman, which is a very light, kind of a neutral scented talc. And I'm wondering, and it does have a softness to it. So I'm going to be adding the eau de parfum to that. And to see if I can really capture that English fern vibe, until I can convince, with the thousands of letters I send every week to Penhaligon's, to bring back English fern. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Castle & Forbes, $14.45 eau de parfum. Beautiful presentation, big bottle. I mean, a good sized bottle. I don't have the ounces on here real quick. I apologize. Let me see if it's on the bottle. My glasses. No, it is not, but it's a good sized bottle. And it is wonderful. A parfum strength, beautiful presentation. And as far as the fragrance by itself, a little bit sharper than English fern, but a little bit less sharp than the aftershave balm. This, just in the 4 days that I've used this, I will tell you, this is probably going to be my replacement for English fern, which, for those of you who've been watching me, this has been a long-term process to find it. I mean, it's not quite, it's a little sharp, but it's less sharp than Royal Fougere and Felsia aromatica. So we're getting in the ballpark until I can get somebody, Frank at Ethos, to copy it, or Chris at CBL to copy English Fern. It's a tough one because they don't want to release the fragrance notes because I asked them. Anyhow, there is your review of Martin de Candre Fougere, Castle & Forbes Aftershave Balm, and Castle & Forbes 1445 Eau de Parfum. None of these were sponsored. This was out of my own pocket. And like I said, by the time I spent the money on the soap and everything else, you're talking $350 in that range. Is it worth it? To me, yes. To you, you may be thinking it's crazy. But this will last a long, long time. Anyhow, that's our shave for the week. Sorry, we only had 2 shaves for the week. But to get a 2-pass, almost BBS shave, I'm pretty happy with that. Anyways, I'm BarberDave. This has been BarberDave Shaves and such. Please follow my community blog where I put my shaves and my watch of the day every single day. And then we'll see you again, hopefully next Sunday, for another shave. Take care, everybody.